Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So today we're filming a different video, and a video I've not done in about 2 years now, and I've been putting it off for quite a while, but I thought I'd actually come back to it and do another version of it, because my reading's changed, and also like the speed I read books I think has got slightly better, but we'll see within this video whether that has actually happened. But basically what I'm going to be filming today is a 24-hour readathon, or reading for 24 hours straight. So in today's video, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reading my books that I have on my TBR for 24 hours. So I've done this before. I've done it once before, and basically last time I think I read 2 books, or maybe one and like a half of a book. I don't think I finished like 2 books. I think I only read 1 book. But I'm hoping to finish 2 books today, guys, so let's see how that goes. Ignore the state. As of now, it is just after 8 o'clock in the evening. I just had a shower yeah, so I put my hair in a bun, and obviously when I had a shower my makeup came off, so I'm a bit barefaced at the minute. But yeah, so that's that, and we're going to start off with 2 books. So I'm reading 2 books at the minute. So the first one I'm actually reading because I'm tutoring a girl in English literature, and this is her text, and that is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I've never read Romeo and Juliet, but I'm about 30 pages into it, and yeah, so far it's interesting seeing the relationship between Romeo and Juliet and their parents. Obviously they are rivals, so if you don't know anything about Romeo and Juliet, which I highly doubt, it's basically about these two star-crossed lovers who come from different rival families. So Juliet comes from the Capulet family, and Romeo comes from the Montague family. So they are 2 rival families that do not get on, and somehow Romeo and Juliet meet and they start to fall in love, and it's sort of the tragedy from potentially the consequences of these 2 rivalries coming together, and the relationship that blossoms, and that's sort of that, like the star-crossed thing, like it's not going to work out basically. So yeah, so I'm reading that at the minute. Like I said, I'm about 30 pages in. I have been annotating, and I will be annotating the rest of it as well, but that's Romeo and Juliet. The other book I do have the physical copy of, however yesterday I lost it. I don't know where I put it in this house, so I do have a physical copy of it, but I couldn't actually find it before I started filming this video, and obviously I want to get it done at a timely manner, this video. So what I've decided to do is to download it on my Kindle. I had to pay for it, which was kind of annoying because I've already paid for the physical copy, but at least I've got a copy on my Kindle now, and I'm going to start from where I read from. I think I'm about 100-ish pages in, maybe like 108 or something pages in. I'm trying to remember from when I last picked up the physical copy, but I'll just have to flick through the Kindle and hopefully find where I was. But this is Letters from the Dead by Sam Hercombe. I'll put a proper picture of the cover here, seeing as I can't find a physical copy. But basically this book is like a thriller, a crime novel, and it is part of like not a series I don't think, but like Sam Hercombe has done another book called A Shadow on the Lens, and I think that has some connection to this. But basically Letters from the Dead, I think this is the second book actually, so I think A Shadow on the Lens is the first book, and then this is the second one, if it's a duology. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, they are sort of in the same sort of world, if they're not like the same characters. But yeah, so Letters from the Dead is basically about this guy called Thomas Bexley. He is a police investigator. He was a forensic photographer, and that was his main specialist field. However, he did start to be an investigator, and basically he starts seeing ghosts or dead people as he is you know, doing his forensic photography, and it causes him to take a period of leave because he can't really focus on his investigations because of the fact that these sort of dead people are coming after him, and he's like an alcoholic. He is obsessed with drinking rum and he's just having a really tough time. However, he finds out that his friend is possibly involved in a lot of kidnappings that are going on, similar to Jack the Ripper-esque, if you're into that sort of thing. And yeah, so that's sort of the story of it so far, and at the minute we're at the point where he's gone to try and find his old friend to see why he is somehow being posed as being linked to this set of kidnappings. So that is what Letters from the Dead is about so far. We'll find out obviously whether this friend has got anything to do with the crimes going on or whether there's something else going on, and also how these ghosts that he's seeing sort of have a part psychologically in Thomas's mind. So yeah, so that is Letters from the Dead. Really looking forward to carrying on this book. I've really been enjoying it. It is sort of one of those ones where you want to keep reading more of it. It's not that popular in terms of it's not a TikTok book. I got it from the works. But yeah, so far I've been really enjoying it and I'm looking forward to continuing it. So these are the first two books that we're going to be getting through. So tonight I'm going to carry on with Letters from the Dead, I think, just because Romeo and Juliet might, because I'm annotating it as well, might take a bit more brain power, so I'm going to do that in the morning instead. But for now I'm going to be reading Letters from the Dead. I'm hoping to get a good enough chunk into that. So how this is going to work is I'm going to read for as much as I can tonight, and then I'm going to sleep. And then I'm going to carry on reading tomorrow, and then I'm going to do obviously the extra hours that I missed from sleeping tomorrow night and also on Sunday morning. So we'll see how far I get with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set my timer. So let's get started. So we have 0 hours, 23 hours and 59 minutes. And 59 seconds. So there we go, there is our timer. So let's start, and let's start reading. So guys, we're gonna stop the timer here, so let me just go on to it. So we're currently on 19 minutes and 19 hours and 51 seconds, so just done over 4 of the hours, so we basically have 20 hours left to go. It is now 24 minutes past 12, and I'm gonna end today's part here. So tomorrow I'm gonna go to sleep now, and then tomorrow we'll carry on. This book that I'm reading is just getting crazier and crazier. Like it's jumping from like pillar to post. Like literally, some of it started off as like a bit predictable, like you really sort of started to sort of believe what was going on, and you started to understand it and like see it from Thomas's point of view. But then as more and more is being revealed and like the story's going on, we really start to start to lose trust in what Thomas is viewing and seeing and believing, and also lose trust in the police force around him. We don't know who is giving us the correct story. Is it the police? Is it Thomas? Like, what story is correct? And it's just really interesting how Sam Hercombe has been able to sort of trick the reader as well as the main character, but also we could be being tricked yet again. So it's like it's really hard to sort of decide which side you're on. Are you on Thomas's side? Are you on the police's side? It is really like just interesting me. It makes me literally want to flick through the pages. That's why I've read it. I was going to finish it at midnight, but I ended up reading for an extra 25 minutes because it just made me want to keep reading through. I'm on page 244 at the minute, which is about 65% of the way through the book. According to my Kindle, I have 3 hours and a half left in the book before we finish it. So tomorrow morning, before dinner time, we should finish this, which is really good because that means we can start the next book, which is obviously Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, I just can't believe it. Like, I'm just sat here, I've literally been sat here in shock for at least about half an hour, and it's just crazy the way that it's been written, and it really throws you off guard. So if you like sort of a thriller or even a psychological crime book, or I mean obviously it's fiction, but the way it's able to like throw you off scent and like be quite unpredictable is really interesting, and you really start to feel for Thomas, and you really start to wonder what really went on with him, why he's acting in this way, why they're acting in this way towards him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish here on this page and on the 19 hours, and we're going to continue the rest of this tomorrow, and yeah, so I will see you guys in the morning and we'll see what happens. So yeah. So guys, it's now morning. I'm going to get straight into starting the readathon. So it's now 9 o'clock, but yeah, so let's get reading. Now have 15 hours and 55 minutes left. I'll just stop the time here while I talk to you guys about obviously Letters from the Dead. I've just finished it. It was really good. Like, it kept me hooked constantly. Like, as the story got to a point where you were finding out more and more action was happening. It's very much action packed once you get past like the first third of it, I'd say. More and more keeps being revealed and you keep finding out more and more, and it's so scary but at the same time so interesting and intriguing. Like, take this into account if you're going to read this book. It is gruesome, it is dark, it is quite disgusting in areas and disturbing, so if you're going to read this, definitely consider that, because the scenes weren't all pleasant. But before my Kindle dies, I'll just turn it off. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I can already have a feeling of my rating now. I'm not going to rate it now just because obviously I'm still in the moment, so at the end of the video I'll give it my official rating. But I just was hooked. Like, once we got to a point where we started finding out more and things started becoming more clear, I just can't get over how much I enjoyed that. And to say that it was so gruesome and so dark and so like disturbing, I expected to be quite like horrified by some of the things in there. However, even though it was like that, you sort of put that thought on that idea to the side and you just focus on the story and finding out more about the characters and the story itself. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. But obviously now we are going to be starting, we're going to finish Romeo and Juliet. Like I said, I'm about 30 pages into this, so we've just got up to the feast, I believe. So that's where Romeo and Juliet meet. I've not read that bit yet, however that is sort of where we're up to in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go downstairs, because then I can annotate it, or I might even just bring my annotating stuff up here. But I'm going to sit downstairs, read this and go through it. So yeah, let's get that started and start reading Romeo and Juliet. So guys, we've just hit the 12-hour mark. So now 11 hours and 59 minutes. So we've just hit 12 hours. So we've done halfway, which I'm so happy about. Going off this, because I've nearly finished Romeo and Juliet now, I only have about 30 pages left. So going off that, I'm going to assume that we'll probably end up reading 3 books in this video, maybe start a 4th, and it'll just depend how quickly I read the next book. Obviously it depends what book I read. But yeah, so far I'm reading Romeo and Juliet. Just got to the point where Juliet takes a life. I'm not classing that as a spoiler because a lot of people know the story of Juliet, and also if you were to go see it in a theatre, then it's very likely that you'd be told the story before it happened, just because obviously Shakespeare's language is so old, it'd be hard to understand if you didn't know the story. So we've just got up to the bit where Juliet's committed suicide, and yeah, so we've read quite a bit. We're on Act 4, we're nearly on Act 5 now, and then we'll finish this. So like I said, I've only got about 30 pages left, so yeah. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's nice to finally have read Romeo and Juliet, because I've only ever heard like whispers of the story, and I've watched videos on like a brief synopsis of what it's about. Like I said, we didn't study this at school, so that's why I'm having to read it now. So then obviously I can tutor one of my students who is doing this for GCSEs. But yes, so I'm that much way through. And yeah, like I said, I think I prefer Hamlet and Macbeth, which are the other 2 Shakespeare plays that I've read and analysed. I am thinking that I prefer those, but this is still good and I am still enjoying it. So yeah, it's not one of them that's really hard to read or understand either, so that's always helpful. And it's nice to see how we have a couple as the main characters, so that's Romeo and Juliet. So we get sort of that female perspective, because often like Hamlet is a male main character and so is Macbeth, so it's nice to sort of see those more feminine representatives. Obviously they are of the time, so they are a lot older stereotypes of women, however it's still interesting. So yeah, so that's how far I'm into that. I'm going to carry on reading this. I'm hoping to have finished this by 11 hours, so we'll have 11 hours to in the rest of the readathon. I might read it quicker than that, but we shall see, because as it's coming to its end I'll probably read it quicker. But yeah, so let's get carrying on with Romeo and Juliet. So guys, it is 11 hours and 15 minutes that we've got left now, and the time is 5:38, so 20 to 6 more or less, and we have finished Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was a simple story, like it doesn't go into like, it's not really complex to understand, and I guess that's why a lot of people know of the Romeo and Juliet story. It is one of the more simpler Shakespeare plays in my opinion. However, it is really, obviously it's tragic, obviously it's heartbreaking, and it's sad, obviously the way that it ends. However, I did enjoy it. Like I said, I do think I still prefer Macbeth and Hamlet in terms of out of the 3 that I have read. This is the 3rd one, but I did enjoy this. It is a tragedy with romance elements, I guess. But yeah, it'll be interesting to now watch like the Romeo and Juliet adaptations and see how they're sort of like taken on, because like I said, I've never actually seen any Romeo and Juliet adaptations. I've never gone and seen it be performed, I've never read it, so yeah, it'll be interesting to do that. But yeah, so that's our second book. Well, this is a play, but you know what I mean, it's our second thing that we have read in this video. So that's Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. So now that we've done that, so on my TBR in terms of this month what I want to read, last month for one of my book clubs the monthly pick was The Thursday Murder Club by yeah, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Now, because I read Letters from the Dead, which is a crime, like fiction, historical fiction crime thriller novel book, and it was investigating a murder or murders, I just don't really feel in the mood right now to read Thursday Murder Club, so I think I'll probably read this. So now we're going to pick the next book, as obviously I'm not going to read Thursday Murder Club straight away because I do want sort of a break from that sort of vibe of a book. So what I usually do when I pick a new book is I have a TBR jar. You may have seen it on my channel before, you may not have, but basically it's all the books that I haven't read that are on my bookshelf. And yeah, so we're basically going to pull a book from this, and this is the one that we're going to be reading next. So yeah, let's see. Give it a good shake. So I'm going to open this up. I'm really nervous because I don't know what I'm going to get, but I'm also really excited as well because I've not picked a book out of here in a while. Okay, so the next book we're going to be reading is We Were Liars, which is... We Were Liars is here. So it's We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Luckily it's quite a short book, so hopefully we should finish it in this video. So I got this from the works. I got it like a couple of years ago, either last year or the year before, so I'm looking forward to reading this. It has had mixed reviews, so I don't know whether I'm going to enjoy it or not, but it has had mixed reviews, so we'll see my opinion of it. So yeah, so this is, it says, the blurb says, we are liars, we are beautiful and privileged, we are cracked and broken, a tale of love and romance, a tale of tragedy. Which are lies, which is truth, you decide. So, I don't actually know what this is about. Has a map. Ooh, we like a map. I like referring back to maps. A beautiful and distinguished family, a private island, a brilliant damaged girl, a passionate political boy. A group of 4 friends, the liars, whose friendship turns destructive. A revolution, an accident, a secret, lies upon lies, true love, the truth. We Were Liars is a modern, sophisticated suspense novel from New York Times, is bestseller, National Book Award finalist, and Prince Award Honour E. Lockhart. Read it, and if anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. So that is the blurb for that, and it says on here, it's a good, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart is a good fit for readers seeking a contemporary and mysterious story centred around a privileged family's summer experiences, grappling with grief and complex relationships. So that's that. Let's get straight into the next part of this video and read We Were Liars. So guys, we've just hit the 8-hour mark, so I'll just show you so you know. So we've just hit after the 8-hour mark, so we've got 8 hours left to go. So we'll be reading until 12 tonight, and then I'll finish the rest of it tomorrow, which is Sunday. So yeah, then we will have done the full 24 hours because obviously I sleep and I'm not going to deprive myself of sleep. But yeah, so by the way, I'm in my PJs now. I did get changed, but yeah, so I'm currently on page 72 of We Were Liars. It's kind of, I don't really know how I feel about it at the minute. It's sort of just something like not easy to read, but something like fast paced. Like I'm already on page 72, and I don't know, for me I'm sort of in like a weird thing with it. I don't know where it's gonna go. Like there's not really a direction that it's gonna go in. Like I don't really know at the minute like what the plot's gonna be, but basically it's about these this family that meets every summer at this beach house, well, at this island that has like about 3 or 4 beach houses on it, and each just put my blanket on, I'm a bit chilly tonight, but each time they meet up, like, so they do things together, and then something happens to our main character, and unfortunately, like, just there's a few things that happen to her that make you really question, like, whether she's truly living her life, whether she's truly, like, enjoying life. And it can be quite depressing. I wouldn't go into this if you are looking for, like, a light-hearted book. It is not light-hearted at the moment, and it just seems really depressing. Like, there's nothing really good coming from it at the minute. So I don't know how this is going to progress, and whether we're going to, like, start seeing changes in this, or, like, how this is going to go going forward. I don't really know where the plot's going to go. But so far, yeah, it's interesting. I think for me it's just that we can sort of see the way that privilege sort of affects people's lives. But yeah, that's my opinion so far. But let's carry on reading and see how far we get. So guys, it's now Sunday morning. It is 8:59. We're going to start at 9 o'clock. Basically last night I started feeling, like, really headachy and just not well, so I thought rather than make myself do more and feel worse today, I will go to bed, like, a couple of hours earlier. So I think I went to bed about 10 o'clock. So yeah, that's why I've got 6 hours instead of 4 hours left. But yeah, basically we're going to get carrying on. I'm still reading We Were Liars, and I'm up to page, I think I'm up to page like 98 or something. I'm on page 98, so we've got like another 100 and something pages left. So yeah, let's get straight into it and start reading. Also, I'll start a timer. Nearly forgot then. That would not have been good. So let's resume it. Let's go. Okay, I've done got a Costa to drink while I read my book. I got an iced latte with coconut milk and cinnamon bun syrup. That is all I have to say right now about this book. I've just finished it. It is 1:40 and we have 2 hours exactly, more or less, left of this readathon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Thursday Murder Club a start, but I won't finish it in this vlog. I just don't have the time. But I finished We Were Liars. It's sort of crazy, like you think that you're just reading about this girl who is in this really privileged family, and you just learn about what she forgot when she had an accident, and what it was about the accident from before and after that she forgot. You like basically learning what she's forgotten throughout the book. So at first, to me, because I didn't understand, obviously as I've read on, I've understood a bit more, but as I was reading, I didn't have a clue why this story was written. I was like, what is it, like, what's actually happening, what's going on? And then obviously you find out more and more about what happened, and you realise how tragic it was. As I was saying, we've just finished this, and obviously it isn't a spoiler that it's a tragedy. It literally says it's a tale of tragedy, but I just didn't expect it to like upset me so much, because obviously as I was reading through I didn't really see where the story was going. I couldn't really see what E. Lockhart was trying to get at, and I just didn't really know like where the tragedy was going to come in. And it's this, and they also sort of shocks you as to what the tragedy is. And it's weird because all the books I've read in this readathon have had some elements of sadness, some elements of grief, and some really sad books and tragic books, which is crazy. I mean, Letters from the Dead, it does have an element of tragedy to it. It is quite sad, and it sort of plays tricks on your mind, but it does kind of have a happy ending in the sense that Thomas Bexley, it doesn't really have a tragic ending. However, you're still grieving over the people that have been kidnapped, whatever. But Romeo and Juliet, that's a tragedy, and then this is a tragedy as well. So it's interesting how I've managed to read like kind of sad books today in this past 24-hour readathon. So yeah, but that is We Will Liars. I finished that. Like I said, I'll give you all my ratings once I finish the readathon. But for the last 2 hours, I'm going to be starting Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. I've heard so many good things about this. Some people have mixed reviews on it. Some people really get on with it. Other people don't. I know Richard Osman obviously from the show Pointless. Like, if you're from the UK, that's probably where you know him most. But yeah, so I'm expecting it to be good because he's quite an intelligent man. And yeah, I'm just expecting it to be good. So it says, I'll just read you the blurb. 4 unlikely friends, a shocking murder. Welcome to the Thursday Murder Club. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. But when a brutal killing takes place on their very doorstep, the Thursday Murder Club find themselves in the middle of their first live case. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. Can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? So that is what Thursday Murder Club is about. That's the blurb. I've read The Switch by Beth O'Leary, which is one of the only other ones I've read where the people or the main characters within that book. Well, actually, no, I have read other main characters that are older, but that's not a thriller or anything or a crime novel. It's a romance. But the way that it's interesting how we portray older people and seeing them with this club, it just interested me, the fact that it was a group of old people in a retirement village that were learning about these murders and trying to solve them. So that's what interested me about this book, and that's why I'm going to read it now. So I'm going to get started with it. It is, how many pages long is this book? Not that I'm going to finish it, but it is 382 pages. So yeah, it's obviously 100 pages longer than this book, so you can see the difference. Nearly 200 pages longer. But yeah, I'm going to get straight into the reading this, and yeah, let's get started. So guys, if you didn't see from the last clip, basically the readathon has now finished. So I've read all the 24 hours worth of books. So here they all are. Obviously I read one on my Kindle and the others were all physical copies. But yeah, let's get straight on into it. I'm going to work from like like the first one to the last one that I read. And yeah, so let's get into it. So the first book I read on my Kindle was Letters from the Dead by Sam Hercombe. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. It was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. Obviously I was a little bit into it before the start of this video, so I already had a basic knowledge of the story and what was going on, but to finish it I was really happy. I really enjoyed it. Sam Hercombe's writing is really interesting, and also the way that he draws out information is very much like he would rather show you how it happens rather than tell you, and I just really enjoyed it. It's not a popular book, so but I definitely think it's worth like more credit than it gets. And yeah, so I definitely read that book if you're interested in things like crime, mystery. So guys, my camera died. I'm really sorry about that. I'm actually using a new light. It's quite far away because it actually is blinding me. These lights from TikTok that people have been like raving about, that are like the really small ones, I put it over like there, but if I look at it, it blinds me, so I'm like, I'll put it away. I'm just going to look at my camera because if I look at the light I will be blind. So so yeah, but anyway, as I was saying, I read Letters from the Dead, and I'll just tell you my rating. Obviously I talked about it quite a bit earlier, but the rating I gave it was 5 stars. I was really happy with it. It really engaged me all the way through. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I was just overall happy with it. And yeah, really enjoyed it. And if you've not read it, because it's not very hyped up, definitely do read it. They sell it at the works, I think. You can also get it on Kindle or on Amazon and things like that as well, but I definitely would recommend it if you're into like crime novels, or like even psychological things, because he does like suffer with things like hallucinations and delusions and things like that. So I definitely recommend that if you are into that sort of thing. The second book or play that we read is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I've literally annotated this thing all the way through because, like I said, I am tutoring someone with Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, first time I ever read Romeo and Juliet. It's not my favourite Shakespearean play, and I don't know whether that's because I've studied the other two, so I feel a bit more connected to those than I do this one. However, I did still enjoy it, and I gave it a 4 stars out of 5. So definitely recommend reading this if you're into Shakespeare and you haven't read Romeo and Juliet, but it's one of the most popular ones, so I'm guessing that you will have read it, or at least seen it. And I'm now want to go and like look at the adaptations and see how they've been portrayed. So that was Romeo and Juliet. Really enjoyed this. Again, it wasn't my favourite, but I did like it, so it is a 4 stars. The third book that I fully read, the final book that I fully read, is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This was really like an emotional roller coaster. It starts off and, you know, you feel really like sad and things like that. It starts off like quite depressing, then it gets a little bit better, and then it goes completely back to like depression mode. Like literally it's really tragic. Like I said, the only thing for me was it didn't really feel like there was a plot. It just felt like we were learning somebody's story, in terms of like, even when we were learning their story, it wasn't necessarily like a massive like plot driven book. It's very much a character driven book, I believe personally. Like there's not really much plot to it, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with this book, is it doesn't have much of a plot. But we're mainly just like assessing this girl's life from before and after she had an accident, and it sort of like lets us into her family and the privilege that they had living on this island, you know, as the main family that owned it. And yeah, it was a good book. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I say, it could have been better. If I feel like if there was more plot, or maybe if we got the POVs of other characters, then maybe it would be more interesting. I don't know whether that's what happens in the Family of Liars. Obviously there's a second book. Don't know whether I'll read Family of Liars. If I feel like picking up one day, then I will, but it's not going to be like one I'm really like wanting. But yeah, so We Were Liars, 3.5 stars. I was originally going to give it a 3 stars, but often with me is that if the ending like peaks and is really good and really emotional, then I feel like giving it a little bit more like in star rating. This was literally, I don't know if you could see in the clip, but literally it made me so emotional at the end. Like I was literally this close, like full on crying and sobbing, and I was going to end up a mess. So I'm glad it ended where it did, because otherwise I would have been a blubbering mess. However, you know, so yeah, so I got this, and like I said, from the works. I've read it now, and I'm very glad that I've read it, because it is one off my physical TBR now, and I wasn't expecting to pick it out at all. I completely forgot I even had this on my shelf. So when I picked it out and I read it, I was so happy. And it's so short as well. Like, I thought it would be thicker than this, but it's a really short story. So if you want something quick that's a little bit emotional, then definitely pick this up. So yeah, and then the final one is Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. We started this. I'm only like this much into it. I'm really not far. I didn't read much of it at all. So I can't really give a full opinion on it as of yet, but if you do want to see an update, then always feel free to message me on Instagram. My Instagrams are below, and ask me how I'm getting on with it, or even just in the comments ask me how I'm getting on with it, and I will let you know. But yeah, so far it seems okay. At the moment we're just starting to get to know, the characters and the group itself, where it come from, why it was created, and what they sort of do at the Thursday Murder Club. So there's nothing really like interesting as of yet. Like, they're not like trying to solve a murder or anything at the moment. However, that is probably the direction it's going to go in. And yeah, so that is that. So they are the 4 books / plays, because I guess Romeo and Juliet is a play, but they are the 4 that we read in this readathon. I'm actually really proud of myself, because I don't usually read that quickly, and I'm just glad that I had these 3 books fully finished, and I started Thursday Murder Club. I'm really happy with that. And it also just shows to me as well that when I get my head down and I do some reading, I can actually read quite quicker than I used to, because I think in the last readathon that I did, I only read like 2 books. So yeah, I think it definitely shows that my reading has got better, or even that just I've got faster with my reading. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to give a like, comment down below, tell me whether you've read any of these books and your opinions on them, or even if you've seen me read one of the books and now you're interested in reading it, like for example Letters from the Dead. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one next Thursday. Love you all. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye.